Respect, why would a young, dynamic guy like you, how old are you?
21.
You're 21, so you're 60 years younger than Joe Biden.
That's right.
Right, it was blatantly obvious to everybody that Biden done, especially after the debate. Why would you continue to pretend that he wasn't?
Because I look at the record, I'm always of the view that achievements and policy matters more than like this talk we have of, oh, Biden's this, oh, Biden's that. I've met the man as well. I've talked to him. He was fantastic. He was sharp.
Tyrus just demolished Harry Sisson. And not in a nice guy Twitter conversation style. There was a full-scale public demolition. The kind of verbal abuse that forces you to question if your Wi-Fi connection is stable, since reality must have just gone haywire. Harry tried to clap back, but it was like bringing a juice box to a bar fight. This may be it for him. In fact, digital dust is now all that remains of the internet's golden child. Let's dissect it.
Harry Sisson, well, welcome to both of you. I want to start by playing a little clip of you last time you appeared on my show. Who do you think the two nominees will be in the end, and who will win?
Yeah, it's going to be Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, and then Joe Biden win. And Pierce, I'd love to chat with you after the election.
You've made a few dollars, Harry, so why don't we all wager $10,000 to a charity of your choice? I say Biden can't possibly win. You think he can?
I mean, I personally don't bet on politics. I'm happy to have...
If you like it, kindly subscribe to the channel. You'll be surprised at how much it helps. Harry Sisson froze when the question was really asked. Not the usual "what's your favorite pizza topping?" or "how's the weather?" kind of question. No, this was a serious matter. How old are you? 21. 21. That's 60 years younger than Joe Biden, as someone in the crowd whispered.
So recently, Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene attacked the pride flag, calling it a symbol of aggression. And it's like, seriously? Does she really think this flag is a symbol of aggression? I mean, what is she talking about? Look, I'm a straight white guy, and I have never, ever felt threatened by a pride flag because it represents pride in oneself and comfort in who they are. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you heard Marjorie Taylor Greene or any...
Without noticing, Harry just smiled as if he had invented a brand new TikTok dance that would end global hunger or stimulate the economy. And that's the problem. Everyone could see it. Joe Biden was done. Done completely. Similar to milk that has spent 3 days in the sun. Done, like a Wi-Fi router in a blackout. Done like a cat trying to navigate a room full with laser pointers.
He's fit to serve or not fit to serve. History was made in the sense that the donors basically said no more money. Right. And they don't do that because they think, oh, the polling shows you're down this month. So the ugliness of this is that Joe Biden's legacy is going to be affected because of what happened. The policies and stuff that we're running historically didn't ever fit Joe, which people raised their eyebrows to. And then you're seeing all this cover up of how sharp he was, and that's a
But Harry was trying to give the impression that the guy was just taking a little power nap. He made an unfiltered appearance on Piers Morgan, standing straight, shoulders back, and radiating the TikTok confidence that comes with never having to explain a policy in front of someone older than 30.
Right. After the disaster debate performance, the cat was out of the bag. It was obvious to everyone that Biden was far past his prime, and the fallout was immediate. Suddenly, even left-leaning media outlets started reporting that major Democrat donors were refusing to pour more money into the party unless Biden stepped aside. One example is Abigail Disney, heiress to the Disney family fortune. That kicked off a domino effect, and more Democrats began publicly urging Joe to drop out and make room for someone more capable of carrying the ticket. But Harry isn't one to acknowledge facts, and he tried to spin Biden's withdrawal as some sort of honorable decision.
He followed the traditional socialist talking points like a toddler repeating lines from a movie that he couldn't understand. Of course, Biden is quite good. He is astute. He's been successful. The phrases would have sounded great in a well-rehearsed TikTok comedy, but instead they sounded like someone trying to sell sand in the desert. It was lucky for everybody that Tyrus was there. The former professional wrestler and Fox News analyst is the kind of person who doesn't just call out crap. Instead, he body slams it, talks it into submission, and then posts the best moments online for everyone to see. He was not going to ignore Harry's painstakingly written script.
He could have stayed in the race and said, like, I'm the nominee. I got the votes, I won the primary, I'm going to get the delegates, I'm going to be the nominee. But he looked at the data and made the honorable decision, said, I'm not going to.
But is he that honorable to do it now? I mean, he's...
It sounds great,
the
but
only...
Nancy Pelosi walked in and said, we can do it.
The easy way, or the hard way.
The hard way was Article 25.
You know what it was like to meet Goodfellas, one of my favourite films, right? And I happen to know Joe Pesci very well golf. So it's the scene where Joe Pesci thinks he's going to be the mate.
Yes.
Right? And the whole build-up, whole goes thing, and he goes in and they whack him, right? I think that's what happened with Joe Biden on Sunday.
I think to say that it's like honorable because it's taking place now, I think is a little bit disingenuous.
Well, I only say that because the other two Democrat incumbent presidents.
Not here, not today. Harry politely rejected because, bless him, he lacked the bravery to put his money where his mouth is. The rejection was beautiful in its own way. It was like seeing someone say they were an Olympic swimmer but not jump off a diving board. I don't wager on politics myself, he made the statement. The audience rolled their eyes so wildly that it caused a tiny earthquake, and all of a sudden, $10,000 was secure.
More than two genders in America.
Yeah, what that executive order means. I don't know what the president declared.
It means there are two genders, male and female. Do you disagree with that?
How many genders are there, Harry?
Yeah,
Come on, little. How many genders are there?
Again, these guys don't know what they're talking about, so they won't be able to answer.
Harry, how many genders are there?
How many genders are there, Harry?
How many genders are there?
What's the leak? I'm gonna use Joe's answers. At least two. At least two. That satisfies
Well, how
the
many
little
more
phrase you
other
guys
than
got
male
going on.
female?
That's a TikTok answer.
No, there's at least two.
Yeah.
There's at least two.
But Harry maintained the delusion that everything was okay, that Biden was smart, and that, presumably, achievements were more significant than gossip in the press. As he tried to justify the guy by citing conversations that had taken place behind closed doors, Harry nodded passionately. At the same time, Tyrus threw the first verbal elbow. Contributors don't support failed goods, and Biden had just become a product that no one wanted to invest in any longer.
Coming back from this one, leftist TikToker Harry Sisson's career is practically over after being horribly wrong every single time. But Tyrus wasn't having any of it because from a couple months ago is now coming back to haunt Harry, especially after the lost so decisively. Take a look for yourself and then I think you'll agree. Even Joe Biden's eventual ouster became unavoidable after two important incidents, which was the debate night against Trump that reinvigorated the Republican base like nothing else. And if anything, people should have realized by now that they were always wrong to take Biden at his word. First, it was him claiming he only wanted to run for a term and then walk that back. Then he promised he'd stay for the race against Trump before dropping out a few weeks later. And then more recently, we even saw Joe Biden pardon his son Hunter Biden despite years of promises that he'd never do it because, quote, no one is above the law.
The remarks had moved on from policy. That one didn't even need Tyrus's assistance. The crowd was already drawing the image. Tyrus then hit the nuclear button. He did not only draw attention to the error in the tale, he gave a demonstration of the methods and donations. Tyrus analyzed the public declarations, speeches, and talking points. He called out the word shop itself as a crutch, a prepared talking point that had been used so much that it had lost its meaning.
Human brain
Donald
rot.
Trump says there's male and female. There are two.
Okay, Dave.
How many
Rubin,
more
come
are
on
there
now.
after male and female, Harry?
There's at least two. Anyway, let me get back
What
to
would you
what I
at
was
least
How
two?
many more are there?
What are the other ones?
There's at least two. At least
ones.
two.
Harry, let's
with
try it this way.
executive order,
You're a
what's the legal
female. What is the
It's
other
It's so
gender?
funny. It's so funny how these conservatives just get time to lie on this show, but when I'm speaking, they all
We
interrupt
asked a
and there's no
damn
problem.
question.
You've just been
Yeah,
asked a very
and
simple
I'm trying-
question.
The simultaneous usage of it by all the media channels was no coincidence. The reason was the orchestration. At that moment, it became glaringly clear that Harry was not behaving in a way that was consistent with truth, fact, or principle. He was acting according to a screenplay that those tasked with fostering belief had given him. Memes couldn't save him from a reality check that had been delivered in front of facts, cameras, and millions of people.
Question,
Having a
Harry.
conversation with
How many
Piers, not you,
genders there
Mr.
are?
Como over. Relax, Mr.
You
Breeder.
simply
Thank
got
you so
asked
much.
if there are at least two genders, how many
Hey,
more are there
Piers,
than
Piers.
male and female?
Piers, you asked me about Donald Trump's executive order. I'm trying to explain how legally it makes absolutely no sense and it's going to get sued in court. Then we go into calls with Dave Rubin, this Ferguson guy, asking how many genders are there.
No,
I'm trying
I'm
to answer your
asking you.
question. There's screen faces
I'm
on your issues
asking
that don't
you.
fucking matter.
I'm
Harry,
asking
nobody-
you.
Oh, God.
And
Kyle.
Piers, I've
I'm
given you-
asking you, Harry,
Piers,
how many
and
genders
I'm
are
answering
there?
your question.
Harry.
The youthful influencer, so confident and confident, was unable to counter the cold, razor-sharp, wrestling-honed logic of a guy who had spent years studying power techniques like a playbook. And as the interview drew to a conclusion, it became more than a conversation. It evolved into a cultural moment. The facts that followed were almost in line with Tyrus's claims. A film showing someone desperately clinging to talking points while reality shattered them. The audience could see it. This is not honorable. This is nothing new. As he attempted to reconcile his ideas with the new reality, it was like seeing someone juggling chainsaws while wearing a blindfold.
Apparently very late in catching up to those lies, and then there's people like Harry Sisson that still have blinders on. Here's what he wrote on X a few months ago, all of his weight and trust behind the idea that Joe Biden would never pardon his son before leaving office, saying, quote, "Riddle me this, MAGA, how has Biden weaponized the Justice Department if his own son is on trial, and he's saying he will not pardon him if convicted? Your whole argument kind of crumbles, doesn't it? Embarrassing." Harry seems to have an uncanny ability to just twist past statements into present events, even if they contradict. He's apparently started doing that on TikTok by rallying his followers into a new resistance against.
The difference between being paid to tweet and really understanding how political influence works became very evident. It wasn't personal, however. One left the studio with pride. The person on the opposite left was looking for the finest 280-character method to say I was wrong on Google. It was also the perfect combination of information and enjoyment for the audience. In half an hour, Tyrus ruins it. Additionally, the audience is seated in the front row for the duration of the play. Presenting the facts with such power that they feel like a steel chair to the skull is crucial, as is timing and clarity. Of course, in a figurative sense. That's where we stop it. Harry Sisson learned the hard way that social media power, charisma, and freshness are insufficient to win every battle. For Q equals, Tyrus demonstrated the rare and beautiful art of dissecting absurdity without ever raising his voice or needing the audience's applause.